So you want to build yourself a camper, do you? There's so many things to consider. There's my 5 things that I wish I knew. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. Yeah, so the first thing that you would need to know, number one, are you going to live in it full time, or are you going to be just a weekend warrior type thing? Is it going to be once off, or like once or twice a year, or just maybe at Christmas? Or that's something you really have to think about, because every other aspect will revolve around that thought process. So that's the first one. Work out how often you're going to use it. Number two is what is your budget? Like, are you on a shoestring budget, or you got plenty money to burn? It would incorporate the first point that I made before, number one, which how often are you going to go away? So if you plan to live in it, I'd be trying to spend every possible dollar you can to build the right vehicle, or to purchase something that someone's already done all the work to. The build that we did here, it was about just over $4,000, $4,500 if you add registration and things like that. What we did was just bought the cheap van. So there'll be a link down below of the actual full build video of the van and all the things that I used. It was just stuff that I had laying around, things I could salvage or get hold of, and I pretty much did it on the cheap. So the things that you probably can do without or not do, if you're on a shoestring budget like I was with most builds that I do, you'll find it. There's always a way. There's always a way. If you got the ingenuity and you've access to marketplace, you'll be fine. Anyway, that's number two. Yeah, so number three would have to be, when you're considering things to build your camper, is your power supply. If you have a power supply, like we've only got one big solar panel on the roof, and that's all we could really fit. There's not much more room for anything else there, and we've got two 100 amp hour gel batteries. We went gel for the safety factor of not having to worry about lithium. We're not real worried about the weight. It was more just a safety factor, so we could park it at any time, because we didn't use it every weekend. Our thoughts were, have something that's safe and easy to use and jump in and go when we need to. And the advantage that we had, we can plug it in and it charges up the 200 amp hour batteries to full capacity, and then all we had to do was off we go, and the solar panel just tops it up as we go along. So, but the other thought is, do you have a plug-in? A plug-in as in you got to pull up at a caravan park or someone's property or something just to run all your facilities. So what we've done is gone completely off-grid. So is it off-grid, or are you site dependent when you go camping? So I'd rather be off-grid myself, so that's why we went with the two big batteries and the solar panel. And everything else inside is all 12 volt. We don't actually have anything on board that is a mains power requirement. So anyway, that's number three. So number four for me is what kind of a vehicle are you going to use? And really, this is right from the get-go. You should be considering what you do, but in saying that, your vehicle might evolve, or your thought process around the vehicle might evolve. So we just came up with the idea, we want a minivan. Well, it's not a minivan. In Australia, we just call these delivery vans. So this one's a Mitsubishi Express van. It's a standard height roof. It doesn't have a big high top or anything on it. And the downside with that, for us, is you can't stand up inside. It's quite frustrating to want to go and put your DAX on, and you can't. You sort of got to nearly lie down on the bed to put your duds on. Anyway, so the other alternative is you get like a Sprinter Mitsubishi van, or there's a few others that are really high top vans, or you can do a pop top conversion. But you're getting fairly dedicated, and that would increase your budget a fair bit. So the other alternative, besides an actual camper van, is a caravan. And we thought, we don't want to tow a big caravan or anything around. We've got plenty of vehicles that can tow. I've got a BT50 here, which has quite a big towing capacity, and it's a really comfortable vehicle inside to drive, so that would be no trouble. And the Subaru Brumby, those who are following my channel, know that I'm building a Brumby on a Jeep chassis, but it's another tow rig as well. It could be good for a tow rig. So there's quite a few upsides to that with a caravan, a small caravan. Even without a pop top, you can stand up in. The advantage from a caravan to a camper van is caravan you can pull up at a site or out in the sticks or wherever you want to go, and then you can unhook your vehicle and go into town and get supplies, or you can go out for dinner or something if you don't feel like cooking. Or that's the advantage over a minivan. But a minivan is you can just jump in and go and you're away. The other advantage with a caravan is the registration for a caravan in Australia, in Queensland here, for a small van like a 12 to a 14 foot, if you keep it under 1,000 kilo GVM, you would, which you can do with a small campervan, you're not going to overload it with a big lot of stuff, you would be able to keep the registration right down to, I think it's $108, which is not a lot really for us in Australia. Compared to this minivan, it's nearly $900 a year for registration, compared to a caravan for $100, just over $100. That's what you got to work out. That there is another option. It's a truck mount camper, so it's a slide on, slide off type unit. You could do that. The downside with that is it's similar to a minivan where you pull up somewhere and you can't just unhook and go to town or something, and you're sort of stuck where you set up, which another thing you need to consider when you're purchasing or you're looking at building a van. So that's number 4. So number 5. Anyway, so number 5 is the layout of your van or your camper or your minivan. Whatever you have decided that you're going to use, there's ways around to work out what your layout is going to be. Now for myself with this one, it was a matter of what I had because it was on a tight budget. I used the double bed frame to fit a double bed mattress in. The next thing that we had to consider in this one was we've got a chemical toilet, so we had to have room underneath, and then we had to have water tank and all sorts of things like that. So that was, the toilet was the contributing factor to the height of the bed for us. Now whether we had it up a couple inches or lower, that was sort of irrelevant, but the crucial part, the toilet had to fit under that front edge of it. So what I've done is pretty much built everything around a toilet, which may or may not make sense to you, but it worked for us. So what we had to do is, what we had, we designed around it. We knew we needed insulation, we knew we needed somewhere to put the batteries, we knew we needed somewhere to put the fridge. So we just sort of laid them all out inside the van itself and to see whether it fit. Now there's more modern ways of doing it. There's I think it's called Vanscape or something, 3D modeler. You can download it. I'm not sure if there's a free version, but you could also just cut it out in little pieces of paper and work out exactly how big the van space is. But I just found it easier, just get all the stuff that you got and lay it out in there and see how it sort of fits. So that's something you just got to consider, is where's your water going to be, where's the water outlet going to be, where are your switches going to be for any lighting. If you're going to have a fan, like we've got a fan up there, you can just sort of see it. I've got it mounted on the ceiling. You could have it mounted on the side cupboard or something, and work out where your fridge is going to be, work out where your food prep's going to be. So all of those things you need to work out prior to actually starting to cut up some timber or steel or however you're going to build it. So keep all those things in mind. Anyway, that was the top 5, and here's the bonus one. So it's really 6. Anyway, it's bonus tip, probably that you should hire one. If you're not sure on whether you buy one, build one, even if you're going to buy an old van and then you're going to kit it out, things like that, you should. We didn't, because we had friends and stuff with vans and we saw how theirs were laid out and we saw how big and everything. But it's not to say that this van is perfect for us. I've got to say it's not, because I would rather be able to stand up in it. So we might move this one on and then buy a caravan ourselves. But anyway, the best thing to probably do is go and hire one. And there's plenty of camper van places around. There's RV campers around that you can you'd be allowed to go and hire. And if you can do that, it'll save you a lot of thought process of layout and is it going to be economical enough? Is it worth it? Do we get a caravan instead, or do we get a truck mount camper? There's lots of things. All of those things considered would be easier to work out if you went and hired one and went away for a weekend. I would consider for somebody, a newbie like we were, is go and hire one. Oh, and here's a bonus tip, is consider when you're building your van or your caravan or whatever, your rooftop even, how long is it going to take you to pack it up? And do you want to just jump in and drive off? So with this one, we've got the awning that we have to consider. This one here, there's the easy big rollout one, which doesn't take a lot of time to pack up. But if you're in like a RV or something like that, it's just jump in and go, unless you've got an awning on the side. The other thing is with a caravan, you can unhook and you don't have to worry about it. You can just go do whatever. But if you're moving from different site to site, it's the pack up time. So just consider all the things that you're doing or do. How long is it going to take you to pack up and move if you need to? Like if it starts bucketing down rain or in different parts of the world, there's a lot of snow. It's how long is it going to take you to move if you need to get out of inclement weather? Yeah, so I hope you like those 5 tips and tricks. The ideas that we had, things that you should consider, the 5 things I wish I knew before building this camper. Guys, thanks for watching this one, really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing, because by the looks of it, I'll probably be selling this and building a caravan so I could stand up and put my duds on. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Come to help Trace. Let's go on the road.